Okay, you guys, I just heard another horrific story. Twin brothers, Kadir and Nazir, missed their flight to Boston and were found unalive 24 hours later in Towns County up in Bell's Mountain. And what is so touching about this story for me is because I've had my own experience there, and I just brought this story up the other day. So I just want to share my experience and still just my feelings on this, because I'm in awe. One, how this still goes on in some of these towns, these historical sundowner towns in Georgia. These things still happen. So as you guys can see, and please excuse my editing because I just threw this together. I'm not the great editor to know how to do all this stuff, but just follow along with me. In December of 23, December 14th, I got a job assignment to go to this town in Georgia, Hiawassee. I had never heard of it, okay? So this is my flight information. As you're seeing, I am about to head out. I got a car and I'll be in the hotel there, but I had never heard of Hiawassee. Let me let some of this play. And so I looked up. I said, where am I going? I've never heard of this town. So I wanted to look up where I was going. I know it was remote because it lies just about on the border of 3 states, Georgia, Tennessee, and North Carolina. When I looked at it on the map, I was like, where the heck am I going? I am going so far up in the hills. Let me do some research. So I pulled up Towns County and looked at it. And this was some of the information I looked up before going. I said, wow. Look at the black residents between 1900 and 1910. They had 0 African Americans there within its borders from 1920 to 1940. And oral evidence suggests the county seat of Hiawassee had a reputation for violence against African Americans, particularly after nightfall. Okay, particularly after nightfall. Black residents did not account for even 1% of the county's residents until the 2020 census. That's recent. Until 2020, which counted 158 black residents out of a total population of 12,000. So I started thinking like, okay, prepare for where you're going. So like I say, I was starting to Google it. I was like, okay, it has an 88.24% of whites with 2 or more races, only totaling 11.3%. And those other two races were Hispanics and blacks. Wait, I'm sorry. Let me go back. So I was like, what the heck is what's going? This is, like I say, I started Googling and looking up, where am I going? And when I looked and saw these statistics, I was like, okay, 88% white, 10% Hispanics, and a hair and sprinkle of 4% black. So I was like, okay, Jenny, this is starting to worry me, right? And so I even sent some information back to my recruiter at the job. I asked him, I said, hey, I'm not trying to be funny and all, but I looked up where I'm going, and I said, have you sent black nurses there before? And the recruiter said, in all honesty, Jenny, we just send names. I can't tell you what the race is. He really couldn't comment on that, or he didn't want to, or he truly did not know. He said, but if you have any problems, if you feel unsafe and at any time, don't go to the area. Let us know. We'll intervene and do something. So I also, at that same time, I started sending the information to close friends of mine. I say, hey, you guys, look where I'm going. I just want you guys to know where I'm going. And Google said, in all probability, this town is still a sundowner town currently today. This is what I found. So, okay, got my luggage tags. And when I got there, I will let this play a little bit. It was such a beautiful, beautiful place. Sorry, my editing here. I'm in the car heading to one of the assignments. But way up in these hills, far, far up in these hills is where I was going. They're building new homes out there. And I was just in awe.
So pretty up here.
Of the beauty.
Oh my gosh.
Just in awe.
So pretty.
And the thought that these are the mountains that these boys were found in after going to the airport, I'm still blown away, because this place is almost 3 hours from Atlanta, from the Atlanta airport. And I'm still curious, how did they get from missing a flight? My questions are, did they even make it to the airport and miss the flight? Or did they realize they missed the flight beforehand? But still, this place is almost 3 hours outside of Atlanta, outside of where they live. Definitely 2.5 hours from Lawrenceville.
Oh, so pretty.
Beautiful up there. I was in awe of the beauty. It's a place you can come and rent cabins and everything.
I've made it through the week.
This is after a week.
Over the hills and through the woods to grandmother's house we go. I cannot believe I'm up here in these mountains.
Like I say, and you see this is the wig that I have on is my big Afro wig, right? And prior to going, the opinion of my friends were, well, go, Jenny, but don't wear that African wig. Don't do the Angela Davis wig. Wear one of your other more conservative wigs, the straight wigs where you just have the conservative long hair or short hair. Don't wear that big African wig up there, right? But at the time, this was my favorite wig and my favorite look. And I said, well, I'm going to take it with me, but I definitely did bring the long straight hair and a short little conservative wig too. But once I got up there, I was like, I'm about to be daring and I want to be free to be me. So I'm going to wear my big Angela Davis Afro wig that will make me definitely stand out as an African American, as a Black up here. But to my surprise, like I say, for me and my experience up here, it turned out so different from what I had expected, what I was feeling some tension about, what I was feeling reservation about. I got so many compliments on my hair. People, they just loved it. And I mean, like all of the white people, the few Hispanics I saw, but it was mostly whites. All of the clients, of course, patients that I had to go see were white. And they just loved it.
But it's really been an enlightening experience. There is a great need for some holistic, integrative type of care here for these clients. It's amazing. Amazing. They want me to come and open a practice up here.
And that's what I want to hit on. The people that I saw were not like what I had in my head. They were so friendly, so receptive. I got invited to move into a couple of homes. I got invited to church. I got invited to, please, Jenny, come up here and open a practice. We need you. We need your services. Because what I offered, they told me so many times, we have to drive way down to Atlanta to get these type of holistic services because they're not offered up here. And I felt so welcome. I am serious. I was driving around looking at commercial properties. I was like, I could do a little remote practice up here. And it would just be fine is what I thought, and I still thought in the deep, deep back of my head, you still got to be careful because I'm sure there's still some up here that aren't as friendly or maybe as receptive as the ones that I met. But the majority of every one of the patients that I met and saw were very warm, welcoming, loving. And I also found that there were a lot of transplants. People from Florida had moved over there. Retirees moved up in there. So they were getting an influx of people from other areas moving into the hills there. And I don't know if that had something to do with the amazing reception there, but some of the people were originally from there that I met. And they were very, very nice.
Oh my gosh, amazing.
In the death of a twin brother found shot to death in Towns County. Deputies in the Northeast Georgia County have asked the GBI to assist in the investigation.
Towns County authorities say the preliminary investigation determined their deaths to be a murder-suicide.
Okay, and here we go again with these type of excuses. Now, this is what just has me floored for two young men, healthy, loving twins, that their parents say loved each other, protected each other. Murder, suicide, this is unbelievable. This is reported by the news.
Fox 5's Deidre Dukes is live at GBI headquarters in DeKalb County. And Deidre, you spoke to the family of these teens.
Yeah, I spoke to loved ones this afternoon, and they just say none of this makes sense. They said...
And it doesn't. It makes no sense. I meant so much no sense that it's obvious it makes no sense. My heart has just broken over this.
That the boys loved each other, that they would never hurt each other. Both suffered gunshot wounds. The family told me they do suspect foul play in this case.
As well, I believe that they should. There is two loving twins on their way to visit friends to Boston. How the heck do you end up in the hills of Hiawassee, shot to death, both of you all? No, this needs to scream out for justice and for more review.
Now, a hiker discovered the bodies of 19-year-old Kadira Malik Lewis and Nazir Rahim Lewis the morning of March 8th atop Bell Mountain in Towns County. Now, the sheriff's office called in the GBI to assist in the case. Authorities said a preliminary investigation revealed the deaths were a murder-suicide.
There's no way. There is just no way. And this is also making me reflect back on to another case. I can't think of the young man, but he was out doing a temporary job and he got worried, called his mother. If you guys remember this case, once again in a sundowner town, and he felt like he was being followed, and he was just on a work assignment and trying to get a ride back to his hotel to resume work, and was found unalive, body parts chopped up, missing, horrible. And they just left it as some type of, I forgot how they concluded it, but it was so unfair. That case still needs justice. And now we have this new case.
At the same time, this investigation is ongoing. Now, family members...
At all. Like, we learned doing way out in Hiawassee, Georgia, and, like, shot to death on top of the mountain.
How
did it go from sleeping at 9 to in the mountains? Then
Yes, this is what is so bizarre, people. This is what is so, I'm like, there is no way they got from where they were way out to Hiawassee. And it's not a place that, even if you miss your flights, what time was the next flight for them? How do you end up 2.5 hours away in the mountains and then unalived? It's making, my mind is going to their organs. What freaking happened?
I discovered Saturday.
March 7th to visit friends, but they missed their flight. They lived with their father and stepmother in Lawrenceville. Now, their stepmother was reportedly the last one to see the brothers at the residence the night of March 7th, and their bodies were discovered in Towns County early the next morning. Now, their airline tickets, authorities say, were still in their wallets when their bodies were discovered.
That's what's so, come on now. There's no way. That's why I'm wondering, did they make it to the airport? If they made it to Jackson Hartsfield, Atlanta's biggest airport, and then discovered they missed their flight, why, one, would you leave the airport and then drive up almost 3 hours away? Even if you had, like, I missed a flight and had to, it was like 8-9 hours for the next flight, but you stay at the airport. Most people that miss a flight, you just stay at the airport, pull out your phone, pull out your iPad, watch some movies, watch some videos, do some YouTube. You're doing other things. If you're in school, work on some homework assignment. You don't leave. You don't leave the airport. But even if they didn't make it to the airport and realize, oh, we missed our flight, what's the next flight? I just can't see them suddenly going way up to Hiawassee on their own. There is just no way. No way.
Loved ones say the teens that never visited the area where they were found, some 2.5 hours away from Atlanta, they insist this was not a murder-suicide.
And I agree. There is no way. And I'm telling you, with, what did that say? 4% black people up there. And I think those 4% are mixed. So you don't, this is you don't just wander to Hiawassee. If you do go up to Hiawassee as black people, they have beautiful cabins. You come up you rent a cabin during the winter. During the summer, you can go up for some water activities on the lake. That was not the case here with these two boys heading to Boston. I'm floored to hear about this case. They must get justice. More must be found. I'm done.